So I dyed my hair and this is a video that's been a long time coming. Basically, I'm combining my March to June favourites with my July to September ones because I did not have enough time to make the first video and now it's nearly out of time to make the second one. So I thought I should better just combine them at the end of the day. And yeah, I think I'm just going to put the whole first segment March to June and then July to September. So take it away, old Stella. Hello. So this is my April to June favourites video. Basically, today is July 22nd. I still wanted to make this because I do want to, finish out the whole year doing these kinds of videos. So, yeah. So let's get this video a cooking. I don't think it works, but whatever. So first of all, let's talk a bit about music. MXM tune Rising. So I started listening to her this year mostly, and I'm a really big fan of her style. My favourite songs from this album are Frown and Mona Lisa, definitely, and Sad Disco is amazing as well. I just love how quirky and light-hearted this album is mostly. Then I put in all of Eurovision 2022. I'm a huge Euro fan. So this was definitely gonna be in the list. I put some songs you have to listen to. Incorpore Sano by Constructa, Saudade Saudade by Myro, Spaceman by Sam Ryder, Die Together by Amanda Tenfjord, Lights Off by We Are Domi, and Eat Your Salad by Citizenni. Citizenni, that's not their name, but I like to say it like that. Citizenni. They're from Latvia. That's all you need to know. Latvia? Are they from Latvia? Yeah, they're from Latvia. Yeah. And I put Alvan Magma. Alvan and Ahez put out a song for Eurovision. It was called Fulen. It's kind of like a witchy song with a lot of kind of techno beat underneath, if that makes sense. It's amazing. It's in Breton, which is a regional language in France. It's the first time there's been no French in Eurovision. Groundbreaking. But yeah, it's an amazing song. I really recommend you guys listen to it. I generally don't listen to the style that Alban makes, but I really enjoyed this album, especially Lemon's song DCAI and Anything. Love those songs so much. And then Marina Satti, Yeahhhh. So she's a Greek singer. I understand a lot of people might not be into that kind of thing, but I think you should be. So she takes a lot of old songs, like a lot of traditional folk songs, and brings them into the 21st century with a kind of like creepy, eerie vibe. I think she's amazing. My favourite song is Spirito che Benzini from this album. I think Spirito che Benzini might also be like the most palatable for non-Greek speakers as well. Check her out. I'll put all of their links in the description. So yeah. So next, let's go on to movies. First one, I put Love and Friendship. So it's an adaptation of Jane Austen's Lady Susan. I think they managed to translate the mood of the story and all the characters perfectly. It's really short and fun. It's exactly what happens in the book, basically, because the book is really short as well. So the other movie is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think everyone adores this movie and I'm no different. I'm obsessed. I watched this twice and I cried both times. The second time I fucking sobbed like a baby. Because maybe because my mum was next to me the second time. Probably that's why. Yeah. Probably. It really is everything. It is everywhere and it is all at once. It really is. Like, yeah. I've written down, it's a drama, action, comedy, science fiction, romance, surreal film with strong themes for personal growth and family. And I don't think that covers everything, honestly. Okay, so next let's go on to books. So first book is The Magic Shop. So The Magic Shop is the first book I've added into the list. I'm generally trying to improve myself this year a lot. And this book takes the path of neurology, which is really interesting to me. I do bioinformatics, so I was originally only interested in biology. I just love reading anything that has to do with psychology and biology. Usually that's neurology, so yeah, this was really interesting to me, and I loved all the tips and tricks that they gave. Like the whole method that he was describing is really interesting to me, and I've tried implementing it to my own life. Next I put, not this one, this Chonke Boy. I mostly listen to this book because it's, there's a free audiobooks because it's a classic. It's Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I think a lot of people might find that it drags on at certain points. The reason why it does that is because back in the day this was not like, it didn't come out as one whole book. It came out in issues, in magazines, in newspapers, I guess, technically. So a lot of the parts are a bit more mundane, but generally speaking I think it's a really interesting book, and the characters are really well fleshed out. There's some characters you wouldn't really see a lot in that period, that kind of writing. And lastly, it's Persuasion, much shorter book. I adored this as well. I want to read all of Jane Austen's books and Elizabeth Gaskell's books this year. If I don't, that's okay. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, definitely. I'm pumped. I was pumped when I wrote my notes. I was pumped for the Netflix adaptation. I put a 2.5-star rating. Yeah. Let's not talk about that now. The book was amazing. Let's just say that. Anne Elliot, love her. The whole cast, it's really funny. It's much more dark and kind of quiet than her other novels, Jane Austen, but still really good. So last but not least, I'll talk a bit about the shows I watched in this period. First of all, a K-drama, Business Proposal. It was so fun. I love Kim Se-jung. She's my baby. I've loved her since IOI. She's everything to me. She's an amazing actress. And there's a rumour that she might be doing a show with Chang Nu, and if that's true, oh my fucking god, I'd be over the moon if that happened. Hard Sell, Catherine Tate, I've loved her since Doctor Who, and I'm now rewatching the series 4 of the new Doctor Who because she's gonna be in Doctor Who again with David Tennant. I'm so beyond excited for that, like already. Whenever I think about it, I'm happy. Back to Hard Sell. It was a show where she plays a lot of characters, kind of like the Catherine Tate show, and it's in a women's prison, and she plays a ton of characters in there. I think the first few episodes maybe were a bit slower, but I loved the way it kind of built up to the end. And now we kind of ended at a huge cliffhanger, so I really hope they at least give her a second series, even though with how Netflix is going right now, I don't know if that's possible, to be honest. Next, I put Our Flag Means Death. Everyone loves the gay pirates. I don't think you need to know anything other than that. Yeah. Next, another gay show, Dickinson, my lovely gay poet. I don't know, Apple TV has become maybe my favourite source for new shows. They are amazing. That's like my favourite Apple product. I own 0 Apple things, and Apple TV might make me change my mind. Like, the quality of everything I've watched is off the charts. They're so good. They're really, really good. Good for them. They're so interesting as well, all the premises and everything. How do they do it? Like, even if it doesn't get into my favourites of the trimester, it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy what I watched. They're just really good. Next, The Magicians. So I really want to make a series on The Magicians. If anyone wants that, let me know. I love this show. I love this fucking show. There's a lot of dark themes into it, so just to be warned, there is like there's a fair amount of violence. There's a pretty explicit R scene, but I think that they handle it well in the rest of the series. Like, it does happen. I think it's kind of, that scene is definitely horrific. It's not like, you can't you mostly see the victim's face during that time, but yeah, it's a hard scene definitely to watch. I think they handle it well going ahead. But yeah, I would recommend maybe not watching that episode, or at least skipping that scene. If you watch it, it's in the beginning of the show, so yeah. But generally, I think all the characters are really well fleshed out, and it was a generally really satisfying conclusion to the show as well. I can't believe it wasn't more popular, maybe because of the network. I don't know, I still want to make a video series on it, so if anyone's interested, let me know. I want one comment and that's it. I'll do it. Maybe I've already started doing it. Ah. And next, we've got Stranger Things. So, kind of obvious. I think the 4th series was amazing. The last 2 episodes, maybe not as much as the rest of the series, the specific season, but generally speaking, I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I kind of like Steve and Nancy, let's be honest. I was a bit scared that they would fuck it up because it'd been so long. But it was great. It was really good. Maybe my favourite series right now after... My favourite season. Not series. Maybe my favourite season after 3, or maybe overall. I don't know. I don't know. Next we have The Sex Lives of College Girls. Watching the first episode, honestly I would not think that I'd like it as much as I do. I think I like Timothée Chalamet's sister more than him when it comes to acting. Don't tell him, please. They are both really good. No, they're both really good. It was definitely a really fun show, and I really hope... I think they have a 2nd season, right? Like, it's gonna come out, right? I hope it does. In any case, it was really good. Really funny. And this should be the age range that shows about teenagers or young people should have. This, college age. Freshman year, sure, whatever, but that was it. Like, it's exactly what I needed. And then, because especially, like, let me rant a little bit. Usually, when the shows are about high school, there are no real parental figures around. So doesn't it make more sense for it to be in college or university? I call it university. Doesn't it make more sense if it's in university, so that the people can not really need a parental figure but still have responsibilities in school that kind of take place in the background? Because let's be honest, in most of the high school shows it's in the background as well, the high school part of it. So just do it, you know? And then the last one is Taskmaster Series 13. What a good series. If you haven't watched Taskmaster, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Don't watch the US one. Watch the UK ones and the New Zealand ones. And of course, I haven't really watched a lot of the like Nordic, other European country ones, but I'm sure they're great. I think I've watched one series of the Norwegian one and it was really good, but I think sometimes the humour, I couldn't really catch the humour. but I think the UK one is a bit more palatable for everyone, especially English speakers, because it's English. You know, the language, it does matter for humour. Anyway, it was really good. I love the whole cast. I really only knew Judy before I started this. Judy Love, I love her. But they were all amazing. So happy with the winner. I laughed so fucking hard. It was amazing. I love them. And I'm so excited for series 14. Oh my god, Dara O'Brien, Sarah Millican. I'm obsessed already. Sarah Millican is like one of my favourite British stand-up comics ever. So, and I love Mock the Week. Well, I loved. I don't really watch it anymore. So, still, I'm really excited. Anyway, oof, that's it. That was a long thing. I guess. Welcome back. This is July to September favourites. And we'll start as always with the music of the month. So the first album that I really enjoyed that came out recently in these 3 months, obviously, is Lizzo's Special. Once again, she managed to make songs that just speak to my soul and are the things that I've been thinking without her knowing, you know? Am I Ready? Especially. That song, yeah. This is what's going on in my brain right now. Thank you, Lizzo, as always. Next, we have Beyonce's Renaissance. I think there is... I don't think I can add anything to the conversation that hasn't been said already. It's just an amazing album. I love this vibe so much. I can't wait for part 2. My favourite songs from the album are Cozy, Cuff It, Summer Renaissance, Heated, and Virgo's Groove. Virgo's Groove is like #1 for me. And Plastic Off the Sofa is also cute. They're all good. Like, what can I say? They're all good. Alien Superstar, I don't need to say anything. You all love it already, I know. Next, we've got Black Bear with In Loving Memory. It just gave me all the like pop punk feels that I had to the ages of like 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. Exactly what I wanted. It was so good. My favourite songs are Toxic Energy, I Don't Love Me, Hazel, Inside, and The Idea. I'm not going to talk about the MGK feature. I've never listened to that song. I'm not going to listen to it. It's fine. Next, we get into Rina Sawayama's Hold the Girl, which, in my humble opinion, is my favourite album of hers so far. Sorry. I know I've seen a lot of people call it a bit more maybe simple than her other ones, but that works for me, so take from that what you will. My favourite songs are Hold the Girl, Hurricanes, and what's his name? And Phantom. So my next album is The Cooks, 10 Tracks to Echo in the Dark. I've been excited for this album since the moment they brought out singles. I think it's really cohesive. The songs work really well together. It's a really good album and I think everyone should listen to it. My favourite songs are Connection, Cold Heart, Sailing on a Dream, 25, and #1 is Modern Days. And we're gonna go on to two K-pop mentions. I'm sorry. So first of all, Billy, The Village of Perception. Obviously an amazing album. Again, really good pop punk influences. These girls and their producers know exactly what they're doing. Everything is made to a perfection. They give you so much extra content that you don't get with other groups. You even get like an acoustic album out of the tracks that they already have out because of all their lore videos. I mean, that's so cool, right? It's so cool. And I think I have my new favourite Billy song from this album. It's MacGuffins. It's so fun. I don't mind the shouting at the end, at the bridge. It just adds more to the experience, what can I say? And last but not least, Cho Yoo-jung came out with Sunflower. So Yoo-jung is obviously a member of Wikimiki. They're my alt bias group. And even though in the beginning I was a bit miffed that we're not getting a group comeback, I'm just hoping that this solo debut will just give them a bit of a boost for their comeback, which I'm guessing and hoping is coming out at the end of November, December maybe? We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, all 3 songs on the album are gorgeous. I love the fact that she got to input so much of her creative direction. And yeah, I don't know, I would just recommend listening to all of them. Sunflower, Tip Toes, and Owl, they're all gorgeous. So yeah, give her a go. Okay, so next, let's get into the movies I watched. So, first of all, I watched Come On, Come On, which is an adorable movie about an uncle and his nephew going through life. It has footage of real children being interviewed interspersed with the actual movie. And it was just so heartwarming, so real. It was everything. It was so good. It was so good. Joaquin Phoenix, that man is such a good actor. And the little boy was also pretty good. Like, he was really believable. Really, really good. I would recommend this to anyone. It's such a cozy movie. There are some like hard moments in there as well, but at the end of it, you go away feeling kind of hugged, I think. Yeah. Next, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Well, it was so good, you guys. I love lesbians. What can I say? It's so good. The ending, completely heartbreaking, but still, I really like gay people being gay in olden times. Period pieces. I like period pieces. And this one was one for the ages. I think everyone already loves this movie. A woman who's on a pretty isolated island, and she wants to send a prospective husband a portrait, and a painter comes to paint that portrait, and they form a connection, which in the beginning is a bit forced because of the first woman's mother, but then it becomes real, and hijinks. I don't know if that's the right word for this movie, but things ensue. Okay. Next, I watched Fargo, and I was really surprised at how they managed to balance being serious and funny at the same time. It's about crimes committed in a town called Fargo, and there's a TV show made out of this premise in the same area in different time periods. It's kind of like American Horror Story. It's an anthology. And right now, from the TV show, I watched the first 2 series, and I'm going into the 3rd one, hopefully soon. It's really good. Both of them are good. The movie's great too. It's really funny, kind of bloody, but it's worth a watch, believe me. There's so many good actors in it as well. It's amazing. The accents, oh yeah. I'm so sorry to people from Fargo. Next, I watched Palm Springs. So this is like, it's a comedy, romantic comedy. Well, it's a romantic comedy with a slice of science fiction, let's say. It's about kind of like a furious Groundhog Day situation where one person and then another 3 people live the same day over and over again. It's mostly about the 2 of them, that they form a relationship. So it's about their relationship and how they deal with the situation that they're in. I don't want to say anything more because I feel like you need to go in it kind of blind. That's what I did, and I had an amazing time watching. Christine Milotti and Andy Samberg. I'll correct myself if I need to. They're both really good and they had amazing chemistry, which is really important obviously for a romantic comedy. Yeah, I really recommend this movie, definitely. And then I watched Cha Cha Real Smooth. So this is a story about a guy in his early 20s who doesn't know what the fuck to do with his life. And him meeting an older woman and her daughter and kind of forming a relationship with them, which is ultimately doomed from the beginning. I don't want to say anything more, but I really related to how the main character acted and felt about his future. Not so much with, I haven't had the situation with an older woman and her daughter, but the things about his life and his goals, that is very relatable. Let me just say that. And then the last movie I watched that I really enjoyed in this period is Do Revenge. So Do Revenge is not a like crazy, amazing, wow movie, but it's definitely one I think I'm gonna go back to because it is so fun. And exactly the teen movie I think people needed right now. There were so many good performances from everyone involved. I had a blast watching, and yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. I think it's an instant teen movie classic. So now we're getting into the books, and unfortunately I have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books to this list, but I only have 2 of them physically. The rest I either read on ebook or I listened to the audiobook. Some of them, well, the ones that I read on ebook, they were actually from NetGalley, so either just come out or will come out in the near future, okay? So first of all, I listened to Yes Please by Amy Poehler. So I love Parks and Recreation and generally think that she's a really cool person. So I wanted to read her book, and yeah, I did have a few issues with some of the parts, but you know, she's a person and we can't always agree with everything a person stands for or says. So I think if you do enjoy her work, then you will enjoy this book. Yeah. Next, I read The Yellow Wallpaper. It's a horror classic, and yeah, it was crazy eerie, but also really fun and compelling. I just wanted to get to the end straight away. The way that we see this woman's mind unravel is so unsettling, but as well, like, kind of really believable, because I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of instances in my life where I've started thinking about something and then that kind of took over my brain for a while and I made a situation into 1,000 times bigger than it actually is, and that's what happened with our protagonist in this book. So yeah, kind of scary. Next, finally, I had Middlesex. I read this in Ledos. I already have a reading vlog out where I read this book, and I have a more detailed review there. I'm just gonna say that I love this book. Jeffrey Evianides has an amazing writing style. It was about something I'd never really thought of before apart from biology class, intersex people. And it also had a lot of kind of Greek trauma in there, especially in the beginning, which I did feel in my soul. Right now my mom is reading the book and she's also enjoying it, so it's for the whole family. Next, I read The Coffee Gets Cold. I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and it's amazing. It's a very kind of simple story, but also very heartwarming, about a coffee place where people go sit in a chair, specific chair, and can go back to the past. It's amazing. It's amazing. And there's I think 2 other books in the series so far, and I'm gonna read them as soon as possible. I listened to this one on audiobook. It's also mentioned in the reading blog I mentioned before, so you can see that as well. Next we have Miss Benson's Beetle. So this is, well, right now it's not the latest Rachel Joyce book. She has come out with a new one, but at that point when I read it, it was the latest Rachel Joyce book. It's about 2 women traveling to New Patagonia to find a beetle, a rare beetle. It's kind of like a cryptid situation. And they go there to find it. It's, I don't know, there's a lot of adventure in this book, which is new for her. And there's also female friendship, which is not something that she's really explored really deeply in her other books, and I really enjoyed it in this one. I really hope she makes more books or makes female friendships a center of more of her stories, because I think she really did it very well. Yeah, I just can't help but smile and kind of, I don't want to spoil the book, you know. It's difficult to talk about it without spoiling it for me. I would really recommend it if you want a book about middle-aged women going to New Patagonia to find a beetle and finding friendship along the way. Yeah, there are some hard moments, some happy moments. That's all I'm gonna say. Next, so we have No One Crosses the Wolf, which is the first book I read from NetGalley. It's by the new book. It's kind of like a biography. It's by Lisa Nikolidakis. She's Greek-American, and it's about her life and how Greek men fucking suck. And also her not getting over. It's about her trauma with her family and her kind of connecting with her roots despite the trauma that they have brought her. That's all I want to say. It's a very difficult book to read, especially if you have family issues with abusive parents. Her dad, oh my god, I hate him. I don't even know him, I fucking hate him. So yeah, it's difficult, it's very difficult to read. Recently, Jeanette McCurdy came out with a book about her mom's abuse. So this book is not that, I haven't read her book, I haven't read Jeanette McCurdy's book, but I've heard that it has a funny tone. This one doesn't have that much of a funny tone, but it's still very easy to read. Like, I finished this in like 3 days, and just because I didn't have enough time to do it in a shorter amount of time. So yeah, it's very easy to read, but it does have a lot of hard topics in it, especially parental abuse, suicide, etc. Next, I read We Should All Be Feminists by this author. I don't want to butcher her name, so I'm sorry for not reading it out loud. And I think this is a kind of a modern classic essay nowadays. It really deserves that title, let me just say that. There are some things that I didn't 100% agree with, especially, you know, when it comes to the gender binary, but it's okay. Like, I think it has to do with her time. Other than that, I really did agree with most of the things that she said. It's a very quick read, and it's very compelling. So yeah, I would recommend anyone read this, especially men. And then the last book I'm going to add is The Secret History. So this is called a modern classic, or maybe the father or the mother of dark academia, and I 100% agree with that. It makes a lot of sense, that title. I don't know if I liked any of the characters. It was just a really well written story, okay? It was a really well written story. The only issues I had were that some scenes could go on for far too long, but I felt like I really knew our main character by the end, and maybe his view of his friends as well. So yeah, I don't know what that says. I think it's worth a read, definitely. Especially if you're into dark academia, I don't think there's any way that you will not read this book, right? Last but not least, let's talk about the TV shows I watched. So first of all, I'm going to mention Picnic at Hanging Rock. So this is a show that was preceded by a movie, that was preceded by a book, that was preceded by stories, in like, you know, spoken word stories. It's about a class of girls in Australia that went on a picnic at this kind of like sacred place for the Aboriginals in Australia, and three of them plus a teacher got lost. 3 girls, 1 teacher. One of them fell and got back. The other 3 are lost forever. The show really takes advantage of the kind of mysticism and surrealism that is around this story. It is really magical, and it takes advantage of the sapphic themes that were also present in the book that the movie didn't really care about. I think it was really good. There were a lot of parts where I watched this with my mom, and there were a lot of parts where we were like, what the fuck is going on? So you have to go in with an open mind. It's not going to be like straightforward. It's going to be a bit crazy, but it's just part of the ride, you know? It's really good. Yeah. Next, I watched Trixie Motel. So if you don't know, Trixie Mattel is a drag queen, and she renovated a motel. And it's just that journey of her and her partner renovating the motel, finding out themes for each room. I don't really watch home improvement shows, but this one was really fun because it was actually a really cool place to be in, and everything looked amazing. There's a lot of like special guests, drag queens, singers, actors and actresses that you might recognize. So yeah, it was just really fun. Next, I watched Making It. I love this show so much. It's Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman. They are best friends in real life, which makes me so happy. And they made this show to showcase creative people creating stuff. It's a competition show, and I wish everyone could stay every week, but unfortunately there are eliminations. It was so fun to watch, and it was extremely heartwarming. Every episode I was just smiling the whole way through, apart from the elimination, but okay. Obviously you might disagree with some eliminations, but I think at the end of the day the right person won every time. And yeah, I just really recommend it if you want like a chill show to have fun with. Basically that's it, and I hope they manage to get a fourth season out. Please. Hello. So my camera stopped recording when I was recording this video, so I'm here to kind of finish off the shows that I wanted to talk about. Well, first of all, I want to talk about Total Drama. So I watched the whole thing, all the seasons, during my break in Leros, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
for adults and not for children. I can't believe that this was marketed towards children. I would market it more towards like teenagers maybe, but it was still really fun to watch even for an adult. There were a lot of like problematic stuff with today's standards, but I think that mostly has to do with the time period and the fact that it was kind of themes that are still talked about in reality shows today, because it's a big reality show. It's basically a survival style show, and they have to do crazy, insane things on an island, and whoever uh, doesn't get eliminated wins. And there are 5 seasons, I think. It depends because some people say there's like 4A, 4B. It's a whole thing. So I think my favorites were Total Drama Action, that was the second one, and Total Drama World Tour. I think that's what it's called, the third series. And I also really liked The Redonkulous Race. I thought it was a very good way to kind of switch up the theme but still make it very fun. Yeah. And I've heard they're planning to make more, so I'm excited for that, definitely. Next, I wanted to give a shout out to the second season of Only Murders in the Building. I think I enjoyed it actually more than the first one. The acting was definitely better, the writing was better. Selena Gomez, I really enjoyed her on Wizards of Waverly Place and other movies that she made, and I felt like in the first season she was a bit more wooden, kind of like a bit more quiet than I was used of seeing her. So this time I felt she could actually bring more of that kind of fun part of her acting back, which I was really happy with. Next, What We Do in the Shadows. I really enjoyed this season. It was so fun. One of the better ones, in my opinion. I loved the plot point with Colin Robinson as a baby and growing up. And then I loved everything with Nadia and the club. That was also really fun. I liked the kind of different types of episodes they did, like the home improvement one. That was really funny. Nandor kind of annoyed me this season. Like, I thought we were having some steps forward and he took steps back instead in his character development. And I wish we could have seen more of his wife. I don't think her story ended as well as it should have. So, yeah. But I'm really excited to see what happens next series because of the way it ended. Yeah, I'm excited for that. And then I watched The Rehearsal. Such a cool series. I wish I'd watched Nathan For You. I'm definitely gonna watch it now. Yeah, it was. I don't want to say too much about it. Let's just say the main premise is Nathan going and kind of making very intricate scenarios for people to rehearse for a big event in their life and going through all the different possibilities about how it could go. Yeah, let's keep it there. And then it I just want to say that if that woman that he was um, doing his rehearsal with is actually like that in real life, I hate her. Like, how does that person exist? Anyway, last show I want to mention is Veronica Mars. It's a long time coming. I have never watched the show before and I fell in love with it. It also falls victim to some of the kind of problematic aspects of 2000s media, like total drama. But I think apart from that, it's a very good show. And you can tell that everyone involved actually had a great time together because they all came back for the movie and the show, the last season. Um, I wish the last season didn't end like that, but I do actually want to make a video about it. So maybe you'll hear more of my thoughts then. I don't want to say too much right now because I am actually planning on making a video about it. Anyway, those were all my favorites for March to September. And now next video is probably going to be my Time Traveler's Wife series video about the book, the show, and the movie. And after that, I'm thinking of doing either a Clarice Bean retrospective or a 39 Clues one. 39 Clues is going to be like a long going series because I'm not going to talk about everything in one video. That would be insane. But if anyone's interested, I'd love to hear opinions. Otherwise, I'm just going to do what I want because I want to make these videos anyway. So yeah, I don't care. But if anyone has an opinion, I'm open to it. I've got other stuff going around in my brain as well. Some book videos. We'll see. Well, I guess the 39 Clues one and the Clarice Bean one would be book videos too, but yeah. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.